What's up everyone, welcome back to another What If video. On the last part, we got to see the fruits of Roshi's training and how he altered the Android saga, as well as everyone's encounter with Frieza and King Cold. But now everyone's kind of at a loss. What do they do with Vegeta? And as for future Gohan, future Goten, and future Trunks, they don't know how they're supposed to defeat the androids. For this video, let's set another like goal, and this time it'll be 3,000 likes. It seems we've been able to hit that on every other video, so let's try that again here. So with that brief recap out of the way, let's continue on with this part. Not only are the kids from the future pretty concerned, but also they now know that Cell will probably be in their timeline as well, so they don't really know what they're supposed to do. They have to somehow find a way to defeat the androids and Cell now. They saved this timeline and had the androids defeated here, which is great, but this won't affect their timeline at all, which is a little bit concerning to them. Suddenly, they hear a voice from above. Kami. Kami interjects to help everyone. He's been watching over, wanting to make sure that the planet would be okay. He tells everyone to come up to the lookout because he might have something to help the time travelers. Everyone's pretty surprised to be contacted by Kami, and he tells them about the Room of Spirit and Time. Goku briefly went in there as a kid, and he completely forgot about it. With this room, one day on the outside will be 1 year's worth of training on the inside, so they could spend some time training in here. The thing is though, Gohan, Goten, and Trunks have already done a lot of training, and training amongst themselves might not help. The Room of Spirit and Time does have more intense areas to train in which will be beneficial, but the three of them still decide to split up, wanting to make sure that they get the best experience possible. Gohan is first going to do a bunch of gravity training with some of the other fighters, as well as Trunks, and in the meantime, Goku is going to take Goten into the room to unlock Super Saiyan for him. A day passes, and they are able to accomplish this. Goku had some great bonding time with his son, and not only did Goten get stronger, but Goku got a little bit stronger as well, and Goten is finally able to go Super Saiyan now. This day of training allowed him to get much stronger. But now, Roshi decides he wants to take Trunks in to teach him something. Remember, this isn't the same Trunks that we all know. After all, he is a full human here. So while all those Saiyans run off and get their Super Saiyan or whatever, Roshi's gonna teach Trunks something different. Even though Trunks may not be as strong as the other two, he's just as motivated, and Roshi wants to help him out by teaching him the Kaioken, and potentially a few other techniques. This unlikely duo heads into the time chamber for a year, and this plan actually works because Trunks is able to access Kaioken now. Let's say he can go up to about times 20. Alright, so Goten and Trunks have new abilities, but is this really going to help against the androids? Not particularly, but one more day of training for Gohan and Goten should do the trick. Given the intensity of the Room of Spirit and Time, and now with the fact that Goten is a Super Saiyan, they could train much more effectively, and they'll be strong enough to take on the androids alone. Everyone is amazed with how powerful they are once they exit the Room of Spirit and Time. None of them have ever seen anything like it before. This training definitely will help. They should be more than enough now to defeat the androids. And it's amazing what the Room of Spirit and Time can do. With their training complete, the three of them head back to their timeline, thanking everyone for their help, and getting the same thanks in return for helping stop the androids here. Now, we enter a period of peace. And there are quite a few changes over this time skip. Over this time, Roshi gets his own idea after seeing what happened with the Room of Spirit and Time. Now that he knows about it and sees how effective it is, it gets him thinking. What if he were to use this to train? So while other people might not want to go into the Room of Spirit and Time for days on end, Roshi has kind of a different circumstance here. Considering he's over 300 years old, what's another couple years to him? He's already had centuries of experience in training, so this is probably right up his alley anyways. And as for his age, I feel like that might not be a problem. Roshi technically is already immortal and hasn't been aging at all. And even though he's above 300 years old, he doesn't really look it. Physically, he still did look kinda old, but not really that old. The immortality that he gained means that he won't die of old age. And judging by his appearance, it seems that it means he won't age either, because otherwise he'd probably look something like Grand Elder Guru. So for that reason, I believe that his youth is already eternal basically. And going in the Room of Spirit and Time won't hasten his aging. And besides, if it actually does, Roshi can always get the Dragon Balls and modify his wish to make himself eternally youthful, so he can always remain a valuable asset to Earth and the team. But over these 7 years, technically Roshi could just spam the Room of Spirit and Time now and again. I don't mean he's going to be in there constantly over the few years. I'd say about a day or two per year or so, which essentially means he gets 7 to 14 extra years worth of training during this time, and it allows him to remain as one of the strongest fighters on the Dragon team. In here, not only does he work on improving his strength, but he tries to control Kaioken to further levels, as well as improving his current techniques. Anyone is welcome to join him, but since they don't have the similar circumstances that he has where they don't really age, they're not too keen on it. Maybe once in a blue moon, Krillin, Tien, Yamcha might join him, but they won't be in it nearly as constantly as Roshi is. And given the amount of time that he spends on the lookout, Kami even has a proposition for Roshi. Kinda like he did with Goku in Dragon Ball, he offers Roshi the position of Guardian. And this is a pretty hefty offer, but not one Roshi would accept, at least not at the moment. Kami kinda was looking for a new candidate anyways, and Roshi seems like he would fit that. And while it's not gonna happen right now, I wanna see what you guys think about this, because I feel like this is a conversation that would come up. With how often he's up there and around Kami, he'd most likely be asked it eventually, given all the qualifications he fulfills. So I'm actually gonna leave a short poll. Do you think sometime in the future Roshi may accept this position, or just something he would never end up doing? Be sure to vote and let me know. Anyways, there are a few other things that happen over the 7 years. With Goku around, as well as with the encouragement of Roshi, Gohan and Goten end up training a lot more, with Goten even joining the Turtle School as a student. Chi-Chi's fine with it as long as it doesn't interfere with his studies, so he goes along with it, as well as Gohan. And as for Vegeta, he often spends his time training with Goku and Gohan. I mean, Vegeta doesn't really have much else to do. He doesn't really have any responsibilities here. He's not with Bulma, so basically all he's doing right now is training and trying to catch up to Goku. He's angry that he can't get there quick enough, but he keeps trying and trains furiously. He knows one day he will be able to surpass Kakarot. Over the 7 years as well, Goku and Gohan are able to unlock Super Saiyan 2, which they discovered during their training and they didn't even know really existed. They were able to go through the other grades of Super Saiyan first, and then eventually access this form, which is a huge discovery for them. And of course, over the 7-year time period, Gohan does eventually become the Great Saiyaman. And that gives me a small opportunity to address something. In some of my what-ifs where Gohan eventually does end up becoming the Great Saiyaman, I often get comments about how the Ginyu Force is the influence behind this. And Gohan didn't meet the Ginyu Force in this scenario, so why would he become the Great Saiyaman? Well, that's not actually true, because in the series, the real reason Gohan became Great Saiyaman is because he wanted to fight crime, and he actually just needed a costume for it to protect his identity. Him not meeting the Ginyu Force wouldn't really affect him being the Great Saiyaman. Maybe he wouldn't do all the goofy poses as Great Saiyaman, but he still would obtain the Great Saiyaman identity nonetheless. It's a small point, but I did want to mention it because people will probably question it in this video as well, since he didn't meet the Ginyu Force here, at least not to the extent that he normally did. Back on topic, besides the part with him training with Goten, the Saiyaman saga goes pretty much the same. He ends up meeting Videl, and all is well. Interestingly enough, a new tournament is coming up. And while everyone laid low over the past 7 years, this could be an opportunity for them to have some fun. It's been a while since they've been in a tournament, and it'll be a nice way to test their new powers. So in terms of who gets in, the roster does change a little bit this time. There's no Android 18, because well, she's dead. I'll also say that Killa and Mighty Mask don't make the cut here, and replacing these 3 on the roster will be Roshi, Yamcha, and Tien. Roshi actually considers joining as Jackie Chun this time, but he doesn't really need to. He might as well have fun instead of trying to wear some disguise for it, because he doesn't really need to here. The next few bits of the tournament go somewhat normal. It starts with Krillin facing Yamcha instead of Pintar, and Krillin gets the win, but besides that, everything else remains pretty much normal. Shin and Kibito make their presence known, as do Spopovich and Yamu, who then end up actually stealing some energy from Gohan. Pretty standard stuff so far, but it's about to change rapidly here. When departing for the ship, Yamcha decides to stay back to make sure his family's safe, and Tien decides to stick with him and Chaozu. In case something bad happens, they want to make sure everyone here will be okay. And it seems like they're sending more than enough people to Babidi's ship, right? Well, things might not go that smoothly. You'll see what I mean. They arrive at the ship, after chasing Spopovich and Yamu down, who then proceed to get blown up by Babidi. They keep a low profile, and far away, they see a pink man standing there talking to Babidi. Shin says that this guy is Deborah, the king of the demon realm, but Deborah knows that he's being watched, so he might as well introduce himself. He notices that the group is somewhat large and seems to have some strong people in it, so he's going to be a little bit cautious this time. He goes up to them and attacks Kibito first, killing him instantly. He knows that Babidi needs some energy, so he shouldn't freeze all the people here, but spitting on 1 or 2 of the fighters there should be good enough, and it'll make sure that he's safe while still being able to gather some energy. He decides to freeze 2 of the strongest people there, Goku and Gohan. Before Shin can even react and warn everyone, they're spit on. And slowly but surely, Goku and Gohan are turned into stone. Things obviously don't look too good here. Deborah retreats back into the ship, coaxing everyone to come inside. Despite Shin's warnings, Vegeta and Piccolo are the first to head in, followed by Roshi and Krillin, and then finally Shin. Once they get into the ship, Vegeta wastes no time. He kills Pui Pui and immediately heads to the next floor, killing Yakan next. They were all a little bit concerned because Vegeta is still kind of a loose cannon here. Yeah, he's a good guy, but he's not really as mellowed out as he was in the original story. He should be fine though, right? Next up, everyone has to face Deborah, and Deborah is actually very strong, so they're gonna have to find a way to actually fend him off. The thing is, if Roshi, Krillin, Vegeta, and Piccolo all fought together, I think they might actually be enough, especially if Roshi and Krillin use their Kaioken. As for Vegeta, let's talk about him a little bit here. Over the time skip, he's made some progress, but like I said, he's still not anywhere near Goku or Gohan. He's barely able to go into Super Saiyan 2, and he is strong, but not nearly as strong as he was originally. He still wants to get stronger and surpass Kakarot somehow, and he's wondering if there's any way that he can get above them. Anyways, the four of them face Deborah, and they actually do pretty well. If only Roshi carried a few capsules with him to use the Mafuba. He should remember that in the future, because if he did that, the fight would be pretty much instant. They end up defeating the Demon King, and that means Goku and Gohan return to normal. They're no longer statues. The two of them are briefly confused but then realize what happened, and they're wondering if they should head into the ship or not. They can't sense any of the evil keys they sensed before, so they assume everyone has it under control. But something seems a little off. It's a little bit too calm. Little do they know that inside the ship right now, Babidi is currently possessing Vegeta. Shin tries to get him to resist it, but the attempts are futile. And like normal, we get Majin Vegeta. In the moment, everyone completely forgets about Goku and Gohan, distracted by the evil Vegeta in front of them. They snap back to reality and Shin tells Piccolo to go and find them. But before Piccolo can even head out of the ship, they're teleported back to the World Tournament, leaving Goku and Gohan in the middle of nowhere near the ship. They sense everyone's ki disappear, and they head in to see what's going on. Babidi is too distracted to notice them, but they eventually make it to the bottom floor and they find out what's going on. Somehow they all got teleported out of here, and Babidi's the only one left. And they don't know what's going on, but they sense a really powerful spike in ki. They search around and then they find it. They're back at the World Tournament arena somehow? This doesn't really look too good. They're gonna head back there immediately and see if they could stop what's happening. Thankfully for Babidi, he was narrowly able to avoid Goku and Gohan, and it seems his plan is working. He's gathering enough energy from Majin Buu's revival. Back at the tournament, Vegeta decides to give a show of force. Roshi is the one to stand against him, ready to defeat Vegeta once again. They try to get the crowd to evacuate as Vegeta fires a blast of energy towards it. It's a good thing Tien and Yamcha stayed back, because with a brief flash of Kaioken, they were just barely able to deflect the blast, saving a bunch of people in the process. No one knows what happened, but Shin explains. Vegeta's been possessed, and now he's under the control of Babidi. Little do they know that Vegeta did this completely willingly, and he's a completely loose cannon. He's ready to fight, and his goal right now is to defeat Kakarot, but he doesn't actually know where Goku is right now, assuming that he's still back at Babidi's ship. He was right. He could sense Goku's ki and it's coming towards the tournament fast. Vegeta escapes and heads towards Goku, as everyone chases after him. They eventually all meet up and find Goku and Gohan in the middle of nowhere flying towards the tournament, and Vegeta immediately attacks Goku. But Goku isn't even really fazed by this. Well, when he's in base it kinda hurts, but once he goes up to Super Saiyan, it doesn't really affect him too much. Even with this boost from becoming a Majin, he's still not enough to surpass Goku. This enrages him further. He begins fighting Goku, and Goku tells everyone that he can handle Vegeta alone. Shin then arrives after everyone is safe, and mentions that they have to find Babidi. He then notices Vegeta is fighting Goku, and things are looking very bad. This is exactly what Babidi wants, and they need to stop this fight somehow. The group yells out to Goku, telling him to stop, because fighting Vegeta will just give Babidi more energy. And while Goku can pretty much tank everything, Vegeta is still fighting him, expelling energy that's going right to Babidi. He has no choice but fighting, and they need to make it fast and somehow defeat Vegeta, but apparently it's too late now. Gohan gave them more energy than usual, and as for the fight with Deborah, that fight dragged on for a while, and it had more people participating, so with those two factors combined, he had more energy from the get-go. And even though Vegeta's fight with Goku has been brief so far, Babidi still was able to gather enough energy, and that set him right over the edge to revive Buu. Just as Goku knocks Vegeta out, they can sense something terrible in the distance. Shin knows that this is it. Majin Buu has been revived. So what is everyone going to do now? Well, we're going to save that for the next episode. And also, Goten wins the kids division of the tournament, and that's not really too important, but I want to put it out there so you guys know that Goten took a W here. And with that brief disclaimer done, we're going to leave off here for now. What is the group going to do with Vegeta now? How are they supposed to face Buu? How many more W's will Goten take in the future? Leave your thoughts and suggestions in the comments below, and I'll be sure to check them out and see what you guys think. As always, if you liked the video, be sure to drop a like, and let's try to hit our like goal. And if you haven't already, why not subscribe, as well as hitting bell icons to get notified about any future parts of this What If, or any other videos that I upload on my channel. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you on my next video.